You are responding, or if you like, critiquing, as one of them said, Wole Soyinka's poems. So it's an engagement. That's why the theme is engaging the quintessential poet at 90.
The evening featured captivating poetry performances by talented poets from around the world, culminating in a special presentation to Professor Wole Soyinka by the poets, followed by a meticulous photo session.
With our bare chest standing in the way of a bullet, you and I are powerless. I am just like you, scared. But you are just a tool, put to bed soon. I am the one you tread upon. You should protect me, but to my head you hold a gun. And this place is all I have nowhere else to run. You turn deaf ear to my cry like you don't hear me mourn. It boggles me, it makes my mind spin. There's oil in my soil, I'm plagued with dry skin. Unrepentantly you rob me, I see your slide green. And while this entire thing is tiring, my paths are rising. So then, I am the creative walking the cinemas, the programmers, the doctors in theaters, the Afro-pop song, the singers with guitars, the intellectuals, entrepreneurs raising the bars. But I am the businessman saying, I beg me debt or pay. The students calling home for cash we never.
And so, I took them off, and I looked again, and realized that she is a complete edifice of a beauty in perfection. Complete, not half done, almost done, abandoned project like those ones in my place by those politicians.
Thief, witch, those who named them so. Let the tree answer, let it live or die. You bend the head of one, make him lick.
But the songs that I'm bringing, when I took it to my brother with crucifix, songs that I'm bringing, when I took your neck, they say I do not belong here. Because when I was crucified on the cross, I could not rise. The grave was barraged by stony rosaries and wooden crosses. So I carry my songs. I carry my songs when the voice called forth from the minaret. I waited when the star rose and the moon rose. I brought the songs of my ancestors. But my brothers say I do not belong here, despite that I have...
Celebrate your message of justice, freedom, civil rights, and love. Are as if the world you taught has lost its access, ceased to spin, as if we have forgotten each tree is warehouse. The gods keep guard. Hide me now. When night children haunt the earth, I must hear none. Drive me now, like you did through Lagos, reminding us the Yoruba belief, wanderer child, it is the same child who dies and returns. Justice despaired, like a street cafe chair, rue despaired, like a street cafe chair, rue despaired. Like a street cafe chair, rue des Écoles, where we littered présence africaine with stubs and words of passion, molders of identity, a lyric voice.
In his response, Professor Wole Soyinka expressed gratitude to everyone present for contributing. Professor Wole Soyinka expressed gratitude to everyone present for contributing to a memorable and inspiring evening.
I'm here under false pretenses, but thank you very much. It's also been a very pleasant and touching evening. Thank you, and happy birthday to all of you.
The event concluded with jubilant musical entertainment from Femi Okunwa-led Lufemi and the Afrikaners Entertainment from Femi Okunwa-led Lufemi and the Afrikaners Band. As guests departed, making a fitting end to a remarkable celebration. The BCO captured for posterity, BOS honors those living and immortalizes the dead everlastingly. The Biscon Tv show, BOS, proudly boasts of being one of the broadcast outfit with the richest library of archives of past events. The Biscon Tv show's awesome archive of iconic events parade the coverage of convocations of universities, coronations of traditional rulers, inaugurations of state governors in Nigeria, the inaugurations of Nigerian presidents, and President Barack Obama of the United States of America. 2010 World Cup in South Africa, covered by the ubiquitous Biscon Tv show, BOS. BOS was also at the inauguration of the Alake of Egbaland 16 years ago, Oba of Benin 8 years ago, Oni of Ife, Ulu of Warri, and many more. As for the birthday, anniversary, and weddings of the high and mighty in the society, the BOS archives is replete with very exciting pan and beyond Nigerian super coverages. As for the festivals like Calabar Carnival, Ujude Oba Festival of the Ijebus, Lishabi Festival of the Egbas of Ogun State, state governments in the propagation and publicity of their programs to their different countries they've all been watching religiously in the last 25 years. In fact, the Biscon Tv show, BOS, commissioned to provide a comprehensive nationwide campaign program for President Goodluck Jonathan, President Muhammadu Buhari, and President Bola Tinubu, which took the BOS team around the country campaigning for votes for the candidates at the time. The Biscon Tv show, BOS, was also involved in rigorous campaign for Governor Duoye Diri of Bayelsa State, Senator Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, and Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State. Incidentally, these were all clients of the very rich archives of BOS with events that span over 25 years, is the one where BOS paid an everlasting honor to immortalize Nigeria's First Lady of all times, Mrs. Stella Obasanjo, who died 19 years ago. The Biscon Tv show, BOS, the first and the best, still remains on the very top of our game.
Yes, we're here with a man whose schedules are very busy because he must keep the environment safe. When you have fire outbreak or the building is collapsing, suddenly somebody is under pressure. So that it takes the pressure off you, colloquially they will say he has murdered sleep. And I'm happy that the government has taken note of it. I have personally taken note of that. I know I'm speaking your minds. I'm talking about the Director General of Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Oluwafemi Damilola Okeosonitolu. He's our special guest today. And I must say to you that you thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Now let's meet you. Let's go back again to how it all started for you.
Well, I'm highly humbled to be here. And I started my life in emergency ward as a disaster, building collapse, road traffic accident. However, by 27th January, when a bomb blast occurred at
the Ikeja
military cantonment, it changed the way we commenced responding to emergency in Lagos State, because His Excellency and the executive members discovered that there was a big lacuna in terms of coordination of all the emergency responders. You will discover that the mortality and morbidity that was associated with that disaster was due to lack of information. People started jumping into the canal. People started running skater, because there is no agency to coordinate the response. There is no agency to give us information. So I was sent to oversee, to attend that agency, and the incident command control will be strict.
We fall under your purview. All right, now they cannot be oversaying this. We can't say too much. The efforts that you have personally done and your team.
The people that found the rules and the regulations.
Okay, you also spoke about the time that you will have the first responders, you call them?
We call them.
You said 10 minutes.
Yes.
Can't it be shorter than that? Why is it 10?
In fact, that 10 minutes, we are still working on it. It's not a permanent, because we realize that it's the golden hour, and the golden hour, we are humble to manage it jealously. You see, we are doing everything that is humanly possible to shorten it. And that is why we built what we call local emergency committee in place. We now have local emergency response units. We are now building the response unit. In our schools too, we have a vocational clubs that we are building their capacity, like
their lives most of the time.
Yes, they put us at risk. We can't enforce. If the police put up a
you also have to appeal to the Nigerians, wherever you're watching us from. You have to help them to help yourself. So, apart from all this that you said now, what are the areas that you also think you need to get to, so that you're right there on top of this game?
Believe me,
because I hear you're technologically savvy yourself. Going through.
Yes, believe me, the governor and his executive member.
Savvy yourself. Going through.
Yes, believe me, the governor and his executive members have done a lot in emergency management. They've started employing new people.
Okay.
They started building the capacity, and right now they have approved a clear 5-year plan for Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, and they are procuring equipment. Some of my team members are going abroad for further training to upgrade the knowledge. And we are about establishing what we call Emergency Trust Fund. The Emergency Trust Fund will ensure that our people are well taken care of, ensure that our people are well taken care of, the victims of emergency are well taken care of. We are establishing what we call local emergency management response units in all the 57 local governments. And we have 2 technical partners working with us. We have IOM. IOM has recognized what is that with you. But before we stop, okay, I need to inform the good people of Lagos State. That our emergency number is toll-free, and it's 112767. When you call us morning, we will be there. When you call us afternoon, we will be there. When you call us at night, we will be there. We are highly humble and privileged to manage life-threatening issues in Lagos State.
Let's repeat the number again.
But the number is about
Go like it, like don't be very slow on it.
The emergency
to blow our own trumpet resoundingly, stating the qualities that have continued to endear the BOS brand to all our fans across and beyond Nigeria. In the last 25 years, the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, which is the longest-running general interest magazine program on television in Nigeria, has covered and broadcasted events of social, economic, corporate, political, and entertainment values every week unfailingly. With iconic events dating back many decades captured for posterity, BOS honors those living and immortalizes the dead everlastingly. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, proudly boasts of being one of the broadcast outfits with the richest library of archives of past events. The Bisi Olatilo Show's awesome archive of iconic events parade the coverage of convocations of universities, coronations of traditional rulers, inaugurations of state governors in Nigeria, the inaugurations of Nigerian presidents, and President Barack Obama of the United States of America. 2010 World Cup in South Africa, covered by the ubiquitous Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS. BOS was also at the inauguration of the Alake of Egbaland 16 years ago, Oba of Benin 8 years ago, Oni of Ife, Ulu of Warri, and many more. As for the birthday, anniversary, and weddings of the high and mighty in the society, the BOS archives is replete with very exciting pan and beyond Nigerian super coverages. As for the festivals like Calabar Carnival, Ujude Oba Festival of the Ijebus, Lishabi Festival of the Egbas of Ogun State, and others, the Bisi Olatilo Show BOS simply is the toast of all. The corporate concerns, the banks, telecommunication companies, and other business concerns have made BOS their prime choice over the years. The newspapers, state governments would rather the almighty Bisi Olatilo have in the awesome BOS archives. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, is the preferred choice of state governments in the propagation and publicity of their programs to their different constituents in different states, because the Bisi Olatilo Show is the #1 program they've all been watching religiously in the last 25 years. In fact, the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, commissioned to provide a comprehensive nationwide campaign program for President Goodluck Jonathan, President Muhammadu Buhari, and President Bola Tinubu, which took the BOS team around the country campaigning for votes for the candidates at the time. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, was also involved in rigorous campaign for Governor Duoye Diri of Bayelsa State, Senator Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, and Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State. Incidentally, these were all clients of BOS from the two different political parties, APC and PDP. Also, in the very rich archives of BOS, with events that span over 25 years, is the one where BOS paid an everlasting honor to immortalize Nigeria's First Lady of all times, Mrs. Stella Obasanjo, who died 19 years ago. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, the first and the best, still remains on the very top of our game.
Welcome to Biscon Television News Today. I'm Stella Opara. First, the headlines. On the national scene, Governor Makinde denies receiving federal government's 570 billion naira hardship grants to states. Kano State files fresh charge of 57.4 billion naira fraud against Ganduje, 3 others. In business news, NUPRC should enforce domestic crude supply obligation, Dangote insists. On the foreign scene, America, Egypt and Qatar call on Israel and Hamas to resume talks. And in the weather sport, Brome others miss out on long jump medal. Amazon returns for 100 meters hurdles. Now the news in full. The governor of Oyo State shaped personnel and cooperate accounts. In another development, chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Bode George, has described as arrant nonsense recent calls by some groups asking Igbo people to leave Lagos. The retired army officer, a Lagos indigene, spoke on the sideline of an interactive session with the media on the state of the nation, held at his office in Ikoyi. George, who went down memory lane, recalled that Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who is of Igbo extraction, became the political son of his great-grand-uncle, Sir Herbert Macaulay. The former deputy national chairman of the PDP said that Azikiwe, the first president of Nigeria, had joined Macaulay in the nationalism struggles before the late Obafemi Awolowo and his group arrived from the UK. He added that Lagos State was created in 1967, and since that time to now, the Igbo have had their contribution. Welcome back. Now to foreign news. The United States, Egypt and Qatar have released a joint statement calling on Israel and Hamas to resume negotiations over a ceasefire and hostage release deal. The statement said the 3 nations had forged a framework agreement that had only the details of implementation left to conclude. Meanwhile, Israel said it would send negotiators to the proposed talks, which are scheduled for 15 August in Doha or Cairo. However, Hamas did not immediately respond. The renewed diplomatic push will be seen as an attempt to stop regional tensions from spiraling out of control after Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated last week. Iran Ese Brume, Ruth Usoro and Christina Ochonogo have missed out on the podium in the women's long jump event at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Brome, who won bronze at Tokyo 2020, leapt 6.70 meters to finish 5th in the final, while Ruth Usoro and Ochonogo were 10th and 12th, with jumps of the United States claimed the gold with a jump of 7.10 meters. Germany's Malaika Mihambo jumped 6.98 to bag the silver, and Jasmine Moore of the U.S. jumped a distance of 6.96 to claim the bronze.
As the Biscon Show. As the Biscon Show, BOS, the globally acknowledged leading brand in the cutting-edge, inimitable production of groundbreaking events dating back many has covered and broadcasted events of social, economic, corporate, political, and entertainment values every week unfailingly. With iconic events dating back many decades captured for posterity, BOS honors those living and immortalizes the dead everlastingly. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, proudly boasts of being one of the broadcast outfit with the richest library of archives of past events. The Bisi Olatilo Show's awesome archive of iconic events parade the coverage of convocations of universities, coronations of traditional rulers, inaugurations of state governors in Nigeria, the inaugurations of Nigerian presidents, and President Barack Obama of the United States of America. 2010 World Cup in South Africa, covered by the ubiquitous Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS. BOS was also at the inauguration of the Alake of Egbaland 16 years ago, Oba of Benin 8 years ago, Oni of Ife, Ulu of Wari, and many more. As for the birthday, anniversary, and weddings of the high and mighty in the society, the BOS archives is replete with very exciting pan and beyond Nigerian super coverages. As for the festivals like Calabar Carnival, Ujude Oba Festival of the Ijebus, Lishabi Festival of the Egbas of Ogun State, and others, the Bisi Olatilo Show BOS simply is the toast of all. The corporate concerns, the banks, telecommunication companies, and other business concerns have made BOS their prime choice over the years. The newspapers, state governments would rather the almighty Bisi Olatilo Show give the coverage of their awards our inimitable packaging as exemplified by what we have in the awesome BOS archives. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, is the preferred choice of state governments in the propagation and publicity of their programs to their different constituents in different states. Because the Bisi Olatilo Show is the #1 program they've all been watching religiously in the last 25 years. In fact, the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, commissioned to provide a comprehensive nationwide campaign program for President Goodluck Jonathan, President Muhammadu Buhari, and President Bola Tinubu, which took the BOS team around the country campaigning for votes for the candidates at the time. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, was also involved in rigorous campaign for Governor Duoye Diri of Bayelsa State, Senator Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, and Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State. Incidentally, these were all clients of BOS from the two different political parties, APC and PDP. Also, in the very rich archives of BOS, with events that span over 25 years, is the one where BOS paid an everlasting honor to immortalize Nigeria's First Lady of all times, Mrs. Stella Obasanjo, who died 19 years ago. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, the first and the best, still remains on the very top of our game.
I want to thank you for this privilege and this moment. We bless you, God, for thus far you have helped us this term. We thank you for preserving our lives and our souls. May your name be exalted in Jesus' name. We thank you for everyone, the students, the teachers, the management, our invited guests. We thank you, Lord, for how you have kept us to see a day like this. Father, once again, we say thank you. May your name be exalted in Jesus' name. The Bible says, unto the Lord shall the gathering of his people be. Father, as we gather unto you today, we declare that this gathering is to the glory of your name in the name of Jesus. We commit everything we shall be doing today into your hands, and we ask that you will guide us, you will direct us, you will lead us in Jesus' name. We will receive grace, we will receive help, we will receive strength. And at the end of everything today, we shall have the cause to glorify your name. Thank you, Heavenly Father. In Jesus' mighty name we are praying.
Amen. media mogul, an icon in the media industry. Let's just keep on clapping. Let's clap, let's clap, let's clap, let's clap, let's clap. Let's clap. Over 60 years in the media industry, it's not easy. Please, let's just keep on clapping now. It's not easy now. It's not easy. Let's keep on clapping. Let's keep on clapping. Thank you, everyone. So, school choir. Thank you. Glory to the Father. The praise. It to your altar. Wash away my shame. Glory to the Father. You deserve the praise. Lead me to your altar. Wash away my shame. All I can say is you can't get this off my lips. You love me with the passion. You don't kick me when I trip. And they say from the river. Just wanna get what you give me. Give me unlimited everything, stick to the canopy on the way. Pay come from me, can't get out with a PJ. It's a fool. I've been doing this, I made the Father have to break you. Living in my chain, not the Father in the break you. But I don't even know the song, the water will break you. The water will break you. Yeah, the God will break you. Yeah, the darkness will break you. Oh, yeah. I pray, lead me to your arms. Wash away my shame. Glory to the Father. Glory to the Father. You deserve the praise. Lead me to your altar. Wash away my shame. Lead me to your arms. Wash away my shame.
Distinguished guest, Prince Dr. B.C. Olatinum. Thank you so much, sir, for your efforts. You are a great icon, a grandfather and a mentor. Efforts, you are a great icon, a grandfather and a mentor to so many people. Thank you for your efforts, sir. Next on our agenda, we're going to be having a welcome address by our principal of Genesis High School. Put your hands together for him.
Pastor Wale Oladiyu and the director, Pastor Mrs. Bukola Oladiyu. I want to welcome our guest, Dr. Prince B.C. Olatilo, to this occasion. Daddy and Mommy send their greetings. And they said I should appreciate you a lot. Ordinarily, if we look at how small we are and when we started, we will say Dr. B.C. Olatilo is too big to be brought into, a small event like this. But because God is the greatest, and because we know He has been a father to us, and He has always, be a member of the Genesis family, that is why it is possible for us to bring someone of his status and caliber to Genesis High School today. We are not taking that for granted, sir, and we really appreciate your presence in our midst. What is the essence of this literary day that we are holding? We as school leaders and teachers, we remember we now believe that we owe it a duty to our students to ensure that we also introduce them to platforms that will benefit their future. Some of the things you are doing today you may not understand. They asked you to do debate. Remember, just last week we had a debate competition, inter-school debate competition here, and today we are glad to have the winners of that competition in the house to receive their trophy, which will be presented by our special guest. It is part of the literary culture, debate, quiz competition, media, journalism. I am not sure that there is any renowned and acclaimed journalist or media person in the world today that never had anything to do with either press club in the school, in the secondary school, or doing something literary during their secondary school days. It is the foundation of a great future in the media. It is the foundation of a great career in the media. And that is why we have in the house today our special guest who will be talking to us about global career in the media, global career in journalism, what you can become that you never knew, the great opportunities that are out there for you if you are committed to press club, to literary things in the secondary school. And without taking much of our time, it's not a speech day. I just want to say that on behalf of the management, staff, and students of JNC High School, we want to appreciate you again, sir, because it is a great, great honor for us to have you in our midst today. Thank you so much, sir. In the person of JNC Primary School, and I have here Mrs. Akinwumi.
My name is Koji Daniela, and with me I have, and we are here to cast JNC News. The headlines. There is cholera in Nigeria. Nigeria adopts the new national anthem. NLC strike over outbreak is associated with the cholera subject known as Servus OI. People living in places with unsafe drinking water, poor sanitation, and inadequate hygiene are at risk of cholera, as it spreads through direct transmission by eating or drinking contaminated food or drinks. Nigeria adopts new national anthem. In 1978, Nigeria adopted Orizo Compatriots as its national anthem, replacing Nigeria We Hail Thee. But in May 2024, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reinstated the older anthem and abandoned Orizo Compatriots. The move sparked public outrages. NLC strike over minimum wage. The organized labor declares a nationwide strike following the committee's failure to agree on a minimum wage by the deadline of 31st of May 2024. TUC President Festus Osifo announced the strike during a joint press conference with the NLC.
JNC High School's news. JNC High School prepares for prefectship election. JNC organizes inter-school debate for primary school pupils. Fathers celebrate Father's Day in school. Now the news in full. JNC High School's prefectship nomination form was picked on the 6th of June 2024. Submission of nomination form were done on Monday the 10th to Tuesday the 11th of June. JNC High School organized inter-school debate for primary school pupils.
Let's have it.
Bonjour, messieurs et dames. Je m'appelle Catherine Colin. Je m'appelle Odette Mofeloa. Je vous présente le journal d'aujourd'hui. Le président de la République du Nigeria est fait son déplacement. Une France cette matin pour une audience et fait le réforme de notre pays, le Nigeria. Comment vous recevez notre pays, le Nigeria, en invitant son jeune monétaire le dollar? Disons une augmentation de 70% par rapport au naira, ce qui la baisse Elle la chute de Naira et qu'il a fait de l'augmentation de prix varie de marchandises. Le sujet coût instrument de fonctions gouvernementales, ce qui montre l'attention des travailleurs. L'État qu'il demande l'augmentation de salaire, ce qui est à une réduction de 30%, ce qui a fait une forte contre-attaque de sentiments et de travailleurs de notre continent. Après avoir quelques discussions, le gouvernement a dû passer l'attention des travailleurs pour remonter tout en dehors. Le président de la République, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a aussi soulevé ces points et marqué ses paroles pour reconnaître le niveau de la technologie de notre pays et le niveau éducatif. Voici la fin de la journée.
Je m'appelle Captain Colin Sadimafo.
Je m'appelle Odori Mofelua.
Je vais remercier à bientôt, Choto, merci beaucoup.
Soyez les bienvenus. Je vous remercie. Ok, monsieur le prince Bissi Ola, soyez les bienvenus. Je vous remercie. Voici le moment de la langue du français et nous avons à notre milieu monsieur le prince Bissi qui est parmi nous. Nous vous remercions très sincèrement pour votre présence et ce que nous avons accordé comme l'école de Génissi, comme une école internationale. Nous vous remercions et c'est notre faveur de vous avoir ici. Soyez les bienvenus. Merci une fois encore. Que Dieu vous bénisse. Sous vos applaudissements. Sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Thank you.
Akọ́lé ewì mi ni òpin ọgbọ́n àfi sùúrù lọ́wọ́ Kọ́lá Ajíbóyè náà ni àfi sùúrù. Yorùbá sọ wípé tẹ̀tẹ̀ òpópó orí àtàn ó dára lójú ṣùgbọ́n ìdí rẹ̀ kò dára. Bí a bá ní ká tábà débi tí ìgbẹ́ dé, a ó fọwọ́ kan ìfún. Òórùn kò sì ní tán. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá ti jẹ́ olórí àfi ká ṣe sùúrù. Ìwọ olórí jọ̀ọ́ mú sùúrù. Ọ̀gá lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ àfi sùúrù. Kí ire wa ó lè tẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ àfi sùúrù. Ọlọ́mọge tó fẹ́ lọ́kọ ṣe sùúrù. Kí ó má gbàgbé egun eléégún. Ìwọ ọ̀dọ́mọ egun eléégún. Ìwọ ọ̀dọ́mọkùnrin fi sùúrù béèrè lọ́wọ́ Elédùwà kó lè ní.
Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, Òṣèmáwẹ̀ ti Oǹdó, Ọlọ́tà ti Ọ̀tà, Ọlọ́wọ̀ ti Ọ̀wọ̀, Ọ̀wà ti Ìdánrẹ̀, Olú ti Ìlarọ̀, Ọlọ́wù ti Ọ̀wù, Ẹ̀mìyà ti Ìlọrin, Olúbàdàn ti Ìbàdàn, Àṣẹ̀yìn ti Ìṣẹ̀yìn, Òǹdó ti Òkè-Ò. Ọ̀ṣọ́lọ̀ ti Ìsọlọ̀, Olú ti Mùṣín, Olú ti Àgègè, Olú ti Ìkẹjà, Ọba ti Lagos, Oníkọ̀tún ti Ìkọ̀tún, Ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀ ti Ẹ̀gbẹ́, Arákejì ti Ìkejì. Thank you. Orúkọ mi ni Rebecca John, ẹnìkejì mi ni. Àwọn akọ̀wé ilé ní ìṣẹ́lógún iṣẹ́. Akọ̀wé ilé ní ìṣẹ́lógún iṣẹ́ láti ọwọ́ DF Ọdúnjọ. Ogun iṣẹ́.
By William Shakespeare, please.
Good day, everyone. My name is Olowo Favor, and here with me is
Emanuela Ian.
Today we'll be taking the sonnet 55. I will take the first 8 lines,
And I'll take the last 6 lines.
Not marble, nor gilded monument of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme, but you shall shine more bright in this content. When unswept stone besmirched the sluggish time. When wasteful walls and statues overturned, and boys wrought out the work of mercenaries. Not Mars the sword, not walk with fire shall burn, the living record of your memory.
Against death and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth, your praises shall still find room, even in the eyes of all posterity that wear this world out to its ending doom. So, till this judgment shall you arise, and dwell in your lover's eyes. Thank you.
Here, then, and now. Please let's put our hands together for them. Before they get here, we're going to be having a music interlude by Mr. Babajide. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oladina Yobamin. I'm a student of the Unite Platinum, and we are here to discuss with you on the topic 21st century parents, the mind and expectations of the new generation. First and foremost, I would like to start by welcoming our high esteemed guests on the high table. You're welcome, sirs, and you're welcome, ma'am. And secondly, I'd like for us to introduce ourselves, starting with.
I'm Caris Felix.
David Tishe.
Hello, Favor.
Kamakiwa Tamilara. Osuma Miriam. Rolani Aldo.
Ada Hebron.
Thank you very much. Now, the first question I would like to ask you: how many of us have a phone? Yeah.
I have one. I have. On the part of those that don't have phones, I believe their parents are just.
She said that for those who don't have phone, maybe because of the trust issue. I don't feel that it is trust issue that makes parents not give their children phone or give them the phones. Generally, for me, I'll feel, even if people offer me a phone, I wouldn't want it because generally I'm okay with what I have. I don't really need it. If I have the phone, I don't have anything to do with it. But for those that I feel a major reason, if you interview most people here, it's because of COVID-19 period when they have to do online schooling. That's why their parents gave them a phone. Or because of maybe their parents go out and they don't want to stay at home. They want to contact them to make sure everything is alright at home. They gave them a phone. And if you've noticed, most people that they have given phones to nowadays are the ones that have been led astray because of they have access to the internet at free will and access to all those sites. Anything that is negative, that will cause negative impact into their life, they have access to it at free will. And most of these parents, when they give their children the phones, they don't usually go and check. They don't do check and balance. They don't check if their children, what they give them this phone for, is actually manifesting. It's not like if you give the child for online schooling, is the child using it for online schooling or they are using it for something else? They don't check it. And even if you are giving the child for online schooling, there should be some restrictions where you put on it.
Beautiful point, Tishe. Thank you very much for that. Now, I would like to move on to another question. Why do you think it's easier for us? I think it's easier for us to communicate with our parents nowadays than it was in the olden days.
First of all, we have access to information, not like the old days. So I feel like our parents are able to talk to us. And in the olden days, I feel like children were not able to communicate with their parents properly. Okay. But now, I feel like since our parents have experienced that, they won't want us to go through the same thing. So they want to build a relationship with their child. And also, now, like, it's very dangerous, not like before. So I feel like that's why everything is like that. So that's why children and our parents want to have like relationships so they can talk about more things. Because a lot of children go through things like insecurity, pornography addiction. So they need people to talk to about it, and also cyberbullying.
The reason why I feel talking to parents now, children talking to their parents in this current day than in the olden days was because of lack of information, like she said. There are some things that children know as of now which their parents
Who would like to take up that question? Give me something to ponder about. How do you view it when your parents discipline you? You do something wrong and they discipline you because back then, okay.
Okay, how do children nowadays view discipline? That goes to tell, depending on the home the child is coming from. Okay? So, what is the discipline like at home? That will tell how the child will see discipline. If the home value tells the child that this and this you are not to do, and this is what you should do. And when the child goes wrong, the child is being disciplined based on the value they have been telling that child. The child takes it like that. And also in school, the child knows that this is what I'm not supposed to do and this is what I'm supposed to do. So if the child also goes wrong in school, faulting the laws and the rules and regulations of the school, the child will take it, likely that I've done what is wrong, and so it depends on the background, home, what the child has been told, how did they bring up that child. That will go a long way in affecting the view of the child as per discipline.
Good day, everyone. My name is Irda Mami Magjob, and with me here are
Ada Hebziba,
Osima Miriam,
and Felix Paris.
We are here today to recite a poem which was written by our very own principal of James High School, Mr. Alushola Agubiade, titled Nigeria, the Then and the Now. Thank you. From independence to First Republic, my country was a motherland, full of compassion for her children who are happy and willing to serve her in return for nothing but love, trust, and obedience. No wonder then it was
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own great native land. Though tribe and tongue may thee
with love and strength and faith, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
A military command against the will of people.
The true realization of our diversity provided an understanding for brotherhood as a reason and sacrifice for our unity. But today we coexist just to sustain the labor of our heroes past, regardless of whether we are friends to one another.
There was a clear definition of a symbol enhancing a patriotic spirit. With an agreement of evidence through justice, the symbol was respected. But today, service is without purpose or degree. At the mercy of the heart and power of selfish and wicked leaders.
Honor was a pride and guiding principle. The norms that shaped and reflected our national life. But today, we coexist just to emerge and
the pride of the nation is in its youth, a continuum of best legacies as disclosed by our mission statement. But we all are witness to all what has passed on, an erotome of wanton's destruction of the coming generation.
The oil boom was prayer answered for the patriotic and selfless, but their abundance led to
life. Why can you be described as a blessing or a curse? Or more so, why do people have different perspective about you? Maybe because life can never be balanced like a swinging pendulum. Oh, life. How I wish you're just a dream in my sleep on Mother Earth. Thank you.
It's just a short insight into the poetry that was just read. Just to let you understand as students that literature is life. Literature is inspiration. Literature is prophetic. And literature, is spiritual. If, like Mr. Enino said, you remember that poem was written in 2001 during the regime that when we were singing Nigeria We Hail Thee. In those days, television was not 24 hours, and it was black and white for those who are privileged to have it. And then as school children, we will be glad to enter into any house where there is TV when it is time for Tales by Moonlight. And we will all sit and watch. You don't understand what Tales by Moonlight is? And whether it is behind a cloud at 8 o'clock, people are rushing down from their offices, and it is where the time meets them that they watch the program. They don't even need to get home. There was unity. There was true love. And then, according to the first stanza of that anthem, it says, in brotherhood we stand. There was still brotherhood. It doesn't matter whether you are Igbo, you are Hausa, you are Yoruba, you are Fulani, you are from anywhere. There was no ethnicity. We saw ourselves as one Nigeria in brotherhood. And then I just felt then that, where did we get it wrong? Why did we throw away this beautiful piece? And then we ended it there. Just, like you were inspired to speak into the future, and then you did so. Surprisingly, in May 2024, I was shocked when I heard in the news that the bill for the changing of the national anthem
Put your hands together for them.
welcome to Biscon Television Newspaper Review. I'm Sarah Abiodun. Me here is
Adebisi Elegunde.
And together we'll be taking you through some of the newspapers, and I'll be starting with the New Telegraph newspaper. And the first headline here says, CBN, net forex flows up 55% to $25.4 billion in H124. You can read the rest of that story on page 4. Naira depreciation. Foreigners spy out Nigerian agencies to intensify crackdown on illegal miners. Says government will ensure mineral explorers prioritize people's health, safety, and that's on page 2. Insecurity. Stop returning arrested bandits to communities, State Fund researchers tell Tinubu governors. You can read that on page 2. Federal government leads suspension on ARIC operations. All firms engage aviation officials on navigational services. You can read the rest of that on pages 2 and 7. Benue PDP crisis deepens as party suspends Soswam's orders for insubordination, and that's on page 5. Faults federal government decision to sell crude oil to Dangote refinery in Naira. Says happenings in the north now reflection of youth restlessness. Ipman, Port Harcourt will supply 12 million liters of fuel to marketers. Meets August deadline. You can read the rest of the story on pages 2 and 4. Lagos. 2 persons burnt. Vehicles raised as gas tanker explodes. 20 die as cargo boat blows up. Sinks in Bayelsa waterways. You can read that on page 29. AI tool to resolve Nigeria's out-of-school children crisis. And that's according to Obasanjo. You can read that on page 26. Igbophobia. Afenifere wants purveyors prosecuted, and that's on page 26. We didn't raid Labour House, says DSS, as NLC demands international probe of traumatic invasion. Asks for immediate withdrawal of troops. Others may ask workers to stay at home if. And CLO, others condemn invasion. Money spent on propaganda would have stopped hunger protest. And that's according to ADC. You can read the rest of that on pages 5, 6, and 28. Onyx says parties failed to upload 3,780 PU agents for Edo Cuba poll. PDP, APC didn't field 211 agents each. The rest of the story is on page 4. And lastly, for the New Telegraph newspaper, we have study. Heavy marijuana use increases head, neck cancer risk. And that's on page 31. And that's it for the New Telegraph newspaper.
Now moving to the Punch newspaper. NNPCL demands 4.7 trillion naira petrol imports refund. Forensic audit of 2.6 trillion naira NNPCL subsidy claims still ongoing. That's according to PAC panel, and the story is on page 21. Dangote refinery designed to process Nigerian crude. CEO on page 21. Federal government suspends registration for 40,000 naira rice. That story is on page 19. Moving to hunger protest. Victims, families recount ordeals, demand bailout. Kumbei, Kano traders, Katsina churches count losses. Borno families relive pains. And all of the story about hunger protest is on page 2. APC opposition clash over NLC secretariat invasion on page 7. Vehicles burnt as gas explodes in Lagos filling station. To read the story on pages 4 and 5. And lastly, for the Punch, Naira closes 1,596 naira per dollar as forex inflows hits $25 billion. And that story is on page 21. And that's it for the Punch.
Now to the Vanguard newspaper. Manufacturers incur 1.5 trillion naira forex losses in 6 months. You can read the rest of that on page 20. Edo Cuba. 17 parties nominate only 55.6% polling units, coalition agents, and that's according to INEC, and that's on page 7. African Human Rights Commission seeks probe of brutality of protesters, journalists, and that's on page 4. Road projects. Federal government opens talks with Julius Berger, and that's on page 9. OPEC says Dangote refineries product supplies to disrupt Europe's oil and gas industry, and that's on page 20. Article Obi CSO's others film over raid of NLC headquarters by security agents. We're still shocked by invasion, that's according to NLC, and TUC demand investigation. IGP must fish out the armed invaders, that's Falano. Raid, sign of Tinubu's disregard for democracy, and that's according to Adeoju, and the rest is on page 5. Afenifere to Tinubu, pro-killings calls for military intervention during protest, and that's on page 10. Gas development will drive Nigeria's prosperity, reduce cost of living, and that's according to ECHO, and that's on page 8. Protest, Tinubu has adopted propaganda as state policy, and that's according to article, and you can read that on page 4, and that's it for the Vanguard newspaper.
Now to Daily Sun. Generator film kills woman, 3 children, 2 others in Abia. That story is on page 4. NLC speeds fire over raid of headquarters, threatens industrial action. DSS denies allegations. That story is on page 6. Inflation. Kano government mulls establishment of price control agency. You can read the story on inflation on page 6. IPAC Ganduje Okutekpa task judiciary on credibility, insists judiciary must distance self from politics, politicians, and to see the story you can check on page 26. 2 injured, vehicles burnt as gas explodes in Lagos fuel station on page 5. Abducted pastors regain freedom in Rivers on page 5 as well. And the final headline here for the Daily Sun says Governor orders probe as 20 die in Bayelsa Berry is on page 4.
Now to the Guardian newspaper. White Elephant projects. Billions in drains as Southeast struggles with abandoned mega projects, and that's on pages 4 and 5. Nigeria's $20 billion budget can't fast-track development, far below global peers, says Bagudu, and that's on page 6. Federal government heard sale of 40,000 naira subsidized rice to civil servants, and that's on page 29. Afenifere kicks against Igbo must go threat, divisive rhetoric, and that's on page 28. NLC decides response today as DSS denies invasion of headquarters. You can read the rest of that on page 6. Plateau Kaduna relax curfews as group alleges extrajudicial killings, and that's on page 30. Marketers hopeful of Port Harcourt refinery's August timeline, and that's on page 3. Southwest leads 22.72% share in FACTS, 281.5 billion naira allocations to local government areas, and the rest of it is on page 18. Supreme Court order on direct funding of local government enforceable across Nigeria. Ozekome insists, and you can read that on page 3. And lastly, for the Guardian, we have manufacturers decry 1.5 trillion naira forex transaction losses in 6 months, and the rest of this is on page 18. And that's it for the Guardian newspaper.
Now moving to the Nation newspaper. As cost of living protests end, the violence in Kano, 51 held for curfew breach in Jos, Unibent to reopen Monday, arrested 10 minors out of custody, and all of the story is on page 5. Federal government goes stall on road contractors, no room for low standard, and that's on page 6 as well. Minister storms venue, stops women event, organized without our permission, that's on page 28. Flush out illegal miners, President tells the military. We are pushing hard on economy's diversification. 12 arrested in Ondo. Now we have 4 more bodies recovered from mining site collapse in Niger. And all of that story is on page 4. Many injured in Lagos filling station fire after gas explosion. You can check page 26 for that story. NLC alleges office invasion by security men. We didn't do it, says DSS. That story is on page 4. Why PDP will remain in crisis by George. NWC suspends Benue SWC. You can check page 4 for that story. Issa Ayatu dies at 78 on page 31. 87 million bribes worth 700 billion naira reported in 2023, says ICPC chair. That story is on page 28, and that's it for the Nation newspaper.
And now to the This Day newspaper. CBN demands transaction evidence on all divestment, repatriation of foreign investment, and the rest of this story is on page 5. Telcos, 36 governors chart new course for roll permit, network expansion plan, and that's on page 8. Governor Sule confirms this day's story, says 573 billion naira was World Bank loan, not grant by federal government to states to cushion current hardship, and that's on page 9. Dangote Refinery insists on no backtracking on accusation of oil producers' reluctance to supply crude. The rest of this is on page 5. Idris, fuel subsidy removal, forex windows, unification aimed at rescuing Nigeria's economy. Obagbena says unsequenced implementation overwhelmed markets, and the rest of the story is on page 5. And lastly, for this day, we have Article 6 investigation into killing of young protester in Zaria by soldiers, and that's on page 28, and that's it for the This Day newspaper.
And finally is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and I'll begin with the first headline for that newspaper. 20 die, many missing as boat explodes in Bayelsa. That story is on page 5. 573 billion naira disbursed to states. Nasarawa governor says fund is World Bank loan, on page 11. Mba flags up distribution of 4.6 billion naira worth of agro inputs, MSMEs grants, and that's on page 26. Days after accepting to wear beaded crown, Makinde visits Ladoja, on page 27. Local government financial autonomy, Supreme Court order enforceable, Ozekome, and that's on page 25. Now, this is referring to the federal government. Review identities of sponsors of protesters flying Russian flags. Condemns Tinubu's address, says he lacks statesmanship. NHRC condemns teenagers killing by soldiers. Seeks thorough investigation. Nigeria lost 1.3 trillion naira estimated output to protest investigation. And that's on pages 3 and 7. Immigration suspends officer begging traveler for money at airport. That story is on page 4. Why oil marketers can't import petrol like NNPCL. That's according to Ipman, and that story is on page 6. Court sentences 59 internet fraudsters to prison in Oyo, Ogun, Osun, on page 5. 700 billion naira paid as bribes in 2023. ICPC chairman. That story is on page 4. And lastly, for the Nigerian Tribune, NLC raises alarm over headquarters raid by security operatives. We are not involved. That's according to DSS, and that's on page 3.
And now we've come to the end of newspaper review. Thank you for watching.
Particular, a lover of literature, and he is here in our midst this morning or this afternoon to talk to us like a father and a grandfather. I want you to listen very aptly to him and have your writing materials ready so that you can jot down salient points that will be of benefit to your future. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Now, what I did was also Dr. Wale Oladiyo. And his amiable God-sent wife, Pastor Mrs. Bukola Oladiyo.
for the respect and special recognition they've always accorded my family and I since we became members of the clan family, going on 2 decades now. My prayer for them is that God will be there on their side to continue to guide and direct them in all their undertakings as they try to build a society where love, truth, and justice will prevail. I was honored to be part of the specially selected people who spoke at the Genesee School's flagship program tagged Festival of Arts in April 2023. In fact, the principal and I were watching on Biscon TV on YouTube just now. I'll return back to that. A program which has become a mark of the students here with their spiritual and emotional well-being. Now let's talk about helping you to build a career in the global media space. This takes me to my own experience from the very beginning, where I developed the interest for broadcasting and how I followed it up step by step, till now that you might be able to call me one of Nigeria's most recognizable persons in the media landscape. Recognizable persons in the media landscape. My special gift of the mastery of Nigeria's 3 major languages of Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, in addition to the pidgin lingo, also comes with my exceptional love. Also comes with my exceptional love and interest. Also comes with my exceptional love and interest for the quaint English. Having noticed that, the principal of my secondary school, the one I attended, Kiriji Memorial College of Ibadan, in the Boluwaduro local government area of Osun State, Deacon Olagunjo of blessed memories, encouraged me to gather the news and read to the assembly with fellow students in attendance every day. I also joined the Literary and Debating Society, and we took on many secondary schools in the western part of Nigeria. At the time. However, my broadcasting career began at the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS, in 1975, where I read the news and presented programs like the Wazobia Request, a mixture of Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and the Pidgin English language. These uncommon attributes fetched me millions of admirers in Ibadan, Oyo State, and across the country, including, of course, my wife, who, which you might call one of the dividends of the noble professional broadcasting. My wife and I have been married now for 43 years. And we are talking about, and we'll have 5 grandchildren by God's grace. I'm still counting, by the way. Now, in many radio stations today. Now, on my own now as a private practitioner in Nigeria's highly competitive and oversaturated broadcasting space, I had to leverage on the enormous amount of goodwill and right connections I had made over the years in my interactions with the different sections of the society. Today, the BCOLA TV show, BOS, which started from humble beginnings, has become a global brand at 25 years. Where is, what's his name now? Joseph. Just come. Quick. Speed if you can. Now, the Biscon Tv over the years was the face of Nigeria, projecting Nigeria in the very best of light. Our ways of life, our cultures, our traditions, our dressing and fashion styles. This way, the global community now knows Nigeria better, meaning that the POS has always all along been playing the role of the Chief Public Relations Officer for Nigeria, to shut out those just out to tarnish the image of Nigeria. Now the Biscon Tv employing the soft and very captivating, all-conquering power of entertainment has continued to win more friends for Nigeria. That's the very encouraging feedback we get from millions of fans and admirers all over the world. So trainee broadcaster, English broadcaster, full-fledged broadcaster who read the news, presented programs, and the creator of the Biscon Tv, so now owner of a full-scale television station. Let us now talk about why we're here. Now, talking about the wider global media space, which includes globally. Your love and interest in the profession must be overwhelmingly not in doubt in any way. You must be ready to keep strictly to the tenets of the rules of the profession. You must avoid sensationalism and writing or publishing stories aimed at defaming people or organizations. Now, in the heat of Nigerian politics, practitioners, especially owners of private radio, TV, and newspapers, must refrain from using their platforms to tarnish the image of other people and establishments. In the same way, practitioners that serve as operators in these establishments must avoid being used to disseminate information not properly verified. The long-standing mantra for all practitioners in the media space is to check the source of the information very properly, and if in doubt, at the end of it all, leave out. What did I say there?
Leave out, if in doubt.
God bless you. I was expecting this by young audience to say something. Anyway, let's go ahead. There's no profession as fulfilling and exciting as the media world, with the kind of respect and recognition it affords practitioners who should be committed to delivering excellent services that stand them out on all accounts of accuracy and groundbreaking efforts. Now, at 70 and 50 years of broadcasting, I give God all the thanks for the enablement I've been given, and the founding fathers happened in Nigeria just yesterday here. What is it? Who knows it?
Come out if you know it. Stand up and come out to the camera. There is. Speak.
I came third place.
Okay, well.
There was Big Bill's traditional. Yesterday was a popular artist in Nigeria, Davido's wedding, traditional wedding.
Who did he get married to?
Chioma.
Chioma what? Can anybody help her in the audience?
Chioma Ifeanyi.
Sorry?
Shoma Ifian, but her name is now Shoma.
And let us know what has happened. I should think what to do now. Since I read a script, I didn't speak extempo, so that who is attentive enough to do that. You don't have to tell me everything, but just give me a slice of all the things that I said. Especially what are the do's and don'ts in the broadcasting business. Because I came in here, I don't make you reading the news, which is fantastic. I make you doing a talk show, which is good. And you went out, you did so many things that I was impressed about. You can't do much more than that in broadcasting, so which is good. You only need to perfect it. And I know that with the Dr. Apostle Wale Oladiyo and the wife that you have, you've got to get it right. They'll be on your neck, they'll be on your case. You ready, friend? The name and all.
My name is Roy, and from what you said, your percussion journey started from like 1970, from 1981 to 1999. 1975, and then continued from 1981 to 1999. You were the first one to read news in.
And I'm going to be talking about what I picked from what you just said. First of all, you talked about yourself that your name is Biscon Tv and and that you were encouraged to enter the literature business and the news reading business by your principal in secondary school, who encouraged you to read the news to the school assembly. And you also mentioned that you are very close to your family and you've been married for 43 years and that you own a company called.
You said we should be passionate about literacy.
You guys said before we change our mind, make it move. All right. Yes, you have to love it. That's the first thing that will move you. Yes, and that's like this girl said. Who said it? You. Like he observed. That's the first thing that brought me out in school. My principal must have been hearing me speak English. And, in my jaw, they call it a town now, but the truth of the matter is that we're still not a town. If you don't have drinking water, and you don't say the town. That's my town, by the way, but we have to say the truth. If you don't have drinking water, and you don't say the town. That's my town, by the way, but we have to say the truth. Journalists and all that. It doesn't mean that everybody here wants to be a broadcaster or a journalist or a deputy and all that. But how many of you want to be broadcasters here? Or to work in the media? How many of you?
Raise your hand, let's see you.
You see what politics has done? If I talk of politics, then everybody will raise their hand. Eh? That's what politics is. The paragraph in the letter, well, in the what do you call it, the presentation that I just made. I said it is a business. You know what I mean? Yorubas have it. Yorubas have that proverb. Only owa wulo opade yilona. We don't have to go anywhere in our own case. Let me tell you the relationship between I and Apostle Dr. Wole Oladi. It was this same wife of mine who had a problem. Our establishment got bombed and we're not even left with anything. It's going to about 20 years, 18, 19, 20 years. So he came, visited us in our establishment. Our pastor was crying. One sukuni. He was so moved. And he made a prophecy. He said, in a month, we will make more than enough to change the whole place. It's almost like new. And exactly that was what happened. So that was how our relationship started. A man prays for me with all his heart. I don't know if you remember, I had a COVID experience. He was one of those who snatched me away from COVID prayerfully. Yes, he was doing that on a regular basis. So tell me if I will not be offending God. If they say jump, before they say jump, I'll say hi, I'm here. So that's a man who really loves you. He says it everywhere. And I'm very happy that I'm related to this family. And to be honest with you, I'm extremely excited about what I've seen. The owner of this day, Vanguard, Ovation, and the rest of it. If you have questions in your mind about that, let's quickly talk about it.
Come forward and ask questions.
Come.
If you have questions, come forward.
Your name?
My name is Oluwamifemi Paul and I'm a student in Year 7 Platinum. My question is, how has life been being in the media business for so many years and what sort of difficulties did you have to go through?
She just went, she hit it in the head. Though. Your hands together with this girl. Though. She got it though. I think I enjoy the business because that's my life, radio and TV. Maybe that is just why I'm still holding on to it. And the kinds of, when I was coming in here, you would have thought it was pastor was coming in. I said, let me finish here first. Because you get quite a lot of people saying, well done, well done. That's what is still keeping me on, to be honest. To be honest. Our government should be helping people like us to know the story. We're not hiding it. But you have to be leading almost on your, on your feet, which is not good. But we'll broadcast this tomorrow. I've spoken with the principal. We'll stream it live on Biscon. I mean, you guys are married to your phones more than anything. So that you can watch it. And we'll make sure that it goes on BOS as well. You know, BOS is the mother of Biscon. Yeah. We'll make some noise when it, about November this year, when we turn 25. When we turn 20, we shook the world, but we'll shake it even further this year. So my sister, help us tell them, if you're close to any person, tell them, say, go man, say, we they work, but they don't give us anything. But jokingly speaking, I just thank God that God has made me the way I am. Broadcasting, nothing that. If I come any more time, like this, I know if you do this work, it's not possible now. Broadcasting, don't you guys know what they call broadcasting? Can you
an athlete, a basketballer, a footballer, you don't work in the media, and what can you classify a media personality as?
All right. I'm happy about this question. The media encapsulates all of this. While sitting down there, we'll watch our news. The news has sports, has politics, has foreign, and has entertainment. So if you're a sports person, you're good in, handling sports, why not? That's all we can do with you. You'll come and handle sports for us. We have sports segment as well.